My god! Guys, hi! This is Aaand Productions, aka number 4673, and I am back in Queen at Arms, part something. God, it's been so long since I played this game, and for me, personally, it's been so long since I've been recording, so it's a little weird. I guess I'm just been really busy with the boarding school things. But yeah, I'm having fun and I'm enjoying myself, and you hopefully are not missing too much of my videos because I upload once a week I've set it to do that. So you're watching Hakuoki right now, and that's a lot of pre-recorded stuff, so it's just been so long since like it was in the summer vacation, in the end of the summer that I did that. Now I'm finally sitting here again, and I'm sorry if I'm a little rusty. It's been a while, as I said, and I'm sorry if I'm confused because it's been a while since I played Queen at Arms, and I'm sorry. But here we are. And I don't know how close we are to the end or anything like it, but let's see how it goes. And I've forgotten all the voices because I am an idiot! Right. As you are preparing to take the throne, the Cardinal will of course be seeking your input on the matter. But remember that your world is thin. You don't sit on the throne just yet. I understand that, but I hope the Cardinal will at least value my word as commander. After all, I aided you in ending the war, didn't I? That is very true, and on that merit I will relay that your word should have some credence. But even that will only take you so far. You must be prepared to speak with wit and grace. That is the reason you must learn how to speak well. Do you understand now? My cheeks flushed hotly. I suppose so. I'll listen to you. If not for my sake, dear, then for your own. Let us practice your greetings once more. Man, this is gonna be dreadful. I couldn't bring myself to sleep, especially with the trial looming just ahead of me. I wished for a moment that I could magically freeze time in order to prevent myself from having to deal with it so soon. Then maybe I would be able to relax enough just to sleep before I had to do it. That's right, the prince is having a trial because we think that the crown is possessed or something like it, so that it made him do those things, his father's spirit or something like that. So yeah, that's what we think, at least. And I don't think so either. Alistair may be a jerk, and I may have cursed a bit at him, but he's not evil. With a soft sigh, I sat up, got my glasses on, and shivered from the chill of my blanket slipping off my body. I considered going for a walk to clear my head, but determined because I was too cold for that. A trip to the library would be nice, however. Please, Rufus! Before I realized it, I was adding a soft coat to my gown for the chill and lighting a lantern to guide my way. During the day, the library was open to the public, but at night it was empty and colder than I expected. It was well lit, somehow, like the sun was pouring into the windows, but it still sounded and felt like it was the dead of night. I didn't have much time to be baffled by this when I heard a familiar voice, surprised to see me. Yes! Oh, your grace, what are you doing here at this hour? At the moment, being confused at how it can look like daylight in here. I'm doing the research you requested. I needed light. So you cast this spell. It's amazing. Oh shit, god damn it! It was something illusion of light. I can tell. It's quite obvious that you can, especially since you're no longer binding yourself. It took me a moment to realize what he meant, but then it hit me, my cheeks burned. Right. I adjusted my coat to hide the area a bit better. Not really used to them being exposed so much. Don't say that out loud! It suits you, though the other way suited you too. You simply wear both identities well. I think you're the only person here to look at it in that way. Are you feeling pressured? A little. I won't have to deal with it once I'm queen, though. I doubt that is true, but it would be a nice thought. You don't seem as angry with me as you did before. I'm deliriously tired and I don't have the time or energy for ire. I'm glad, not that you're tired, but that you seem comfortable. Books have that effect on me. I enjoy them, the sound of paper swishing and leather creaking. Even that smell has an appeal to me. I would often drown myself in these books when I first arrived here, whenever trouble hit me. It was not easy to acclimate to your way of thinking. You still really haven't grasped it yet. No, I haven't. I made the effort for Lucius, but I see little reason to bother with anyone else. Not even me? I hardly need to with you. It's refreshing. I sort of feel the same. I've never needed to explain myself to you. You've never asked me awkward questions or forced me to consider things that don't even matter. If anyone else, I'd think they just didn't care, but with you, I feel you just understand already. Lucius has claimed the same until recently. I imagine you will lose that feeling as well over time. Perhaps, or perhaps not. Maybe I'll always feel this way about you. I suspect I will be the same, regardless of your station and mine. I will feel about you as I do this moment. Ah! I smiled at that, which didn't prompt one from Rufus to my surprise. In fact, he hadn't smiled the entire time I'd been speaking with him. That is quite clearly a smile, but anyways. You must really be tired. Have you been getting help with your magical stories since you got here? Stores. Oddly enough, I've not been able to bring myself to. I understand that it is necessary, but my mind has been occupied. Not only with you, but with Adamus and what he said to me when we spoke. What did he say? That I believe in things that are not real, and how that makes me more of an illusionist than he will ever be. That's a strange thing to say. It's the direct translation of a phrase often used at home. It means that you can delude yourself into believing any sort of truth if you don't like the truth you're presented with. And why would he say that? I assumed it was in regards to our mentor, but he also may have been referring to you. Me? It was no doubt meant to be a many-layered insult, both on my judgment in the past and my taste in mates in the present. Ouch! In regards to what exactly? Adamus had a much easier time understanding your culture than I, and I'm continually baffled by certain things. Namely, your restrictions based on biology. At home we have no such restrictions. Your biology has nothing to do with your role and your identity. It's simply biology, nothing more. It confused me deeply that you have separated categories related to biology within the same species, that you have assigned roles and expectations to those categories, that some of you identify with those categories and even become hostile when others do not conform. I just cannot seem to grasp it. Adamus had, as did my mentor, but I failed to see it. Biology should only come to play in the matter of reproduction. That is its entire and only purpose. I can't sort of get why people want it to matter so much. Everyone needs an identity, and to some people that identity comes in, well, how we categorize our biology. The word biology is getting so messed up in my head now. You don't seem to restrict yourself in such a manner. I never really felt like I needed to. That I can understand. I wish I could encounter others who are similar. I doubt I'm the only person who thinks like I do on it. I think I might be a mildly unique circumstance, but it won't be very wise to assume I'm alone in it. Your people speak often of wisdom, but I still do not have a firm grasp of what that word means. Everyone seems to interpret it differently. Yeah, not everybody follows the same definition. My brother quivered at the chill and the chill started to seep into my toes. Are you cold? Aren't you? No, I sustain my body temperature through magic, otherwise I would likely freeze to death in how frigid the weather becomes here compared to home. Is it hot there? You could say that. What do you think? I'm sorry, but that's common knowledge. Sweet friend. Why would you think that he's all the people are so dark skinned? Like it's Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna make myself sound smart because I'm not. I was going to speak again, but Rufus pulled me closer to him. Perhaps we can aid one another. I can share my warmth if you share your energy. Pretty, right here, what if someone else sees? Does that bother you? Honestly, if you keep holding me like this, I won't really be able to resist you. I didn't exactly realize how badly I wanted to be held until this very moment. You're so open, Alex. Holy crap. It does feel different with you than it does with others. I think you may have spoiled me for getting energy from anyone else. I placed the side of my face against his warm chest and I could hear his heartbeat faster. Well, that isn't so bad. I think I could handle being the only one you touch like this. There is a ritual at home that is done when you wish to pull only energy from a few people. It can be dangerous to do with just one, but it has been done before and they managed to thrive. Would you want to do that with me? It sounds sort of like you want to marry me. I chuckled at the prospect, but it wasn't a terrible one. I'm asking if you would be willing to want to share only with me, as I'm willing to share only with you. And perhaps Lucius. But pulling from anyone not included in the ritual will provide much weaker results, so there would be little point in burdening him. I don't think I'd be very happy about that. No, I suspect you wouldn't. Regardless it is of little matter. I would need to return home to fetch those who could aid in the ritual. There will likely never be time to do this before you are mired with responsibility that would not have the energy. Maybe. It's a nice thought, though. Yes. Rupert helped me a while longer, and at first I thought that this was all we were going to do. I was almost disappointed in that, but maybe that was for the best. Of course, I could always let my hands wander. I'm sure that's gonna bring up the romance, but... Fuck, my computer is slow. I'm sorry I swore. It happens. It's something that happens quite often. I'm gonna save here because save scum. Shut up! I'm sorry. Give me a second. I'm just gonna think about this, okay? If I'm gonna have to put a censored thing in again, I'm gonna cry. I let my hand slip down his bare chest and wrapped them around his waist. He felt so warm, and he smelled nice too. Just a light hint of spices and fruits, probably from whatever oil he used to keep his skin so soft. Or maybe that was just what magic smelled like. It was hard to tell with him. Okay, so... Alright, it's time for sexy time. Fuck this, goddamn. Another gentle in the books, okay. We rushed to clean up, laughing with one another as we did. I hurried to my room, invigorated and ready to take on the day ahead of me despite my lack of sleep. Yay! I'm glad you're happy. I think that was a good thing, though. Did he get his energy right? I don't know. I'm not really expert in that, considering that the day was going to be held in the library almost made it better, but I need to keep my mind seriously on the matters at hand. Oh god, that's so awkward. Namely the trial. Yeah, the trial. Kinda forgot about that. Right. So glad there's no face cam on because I'm blushing so hard. Some people would call me a prude. Some people would. Excuse me. Need to take a sip of drink. The library felt cold. The shuffling steps of servants placing a table and some chairs echoed through it, being muffled by only books and statues. While the library was usually open to the public, it was closed down and well guarded specifically for this event. There's something comforting to the idea that the proceedings would be handled under the gaze of Althea and the previous kings of Althea. Even King Farmand was being represented by a new painting that was hanging in an empty space where the future statue was meant to go. No doubt it was commissioned by Queen Charlotte so that King Farmand would have a place of respect. If his statue didn't follow shortly after the painting, I would see to it myself. The Cardinal will be here shortly. You do not need to attend if you are still unwell. There will be none attending that do not already know you. Queen Charlotte was standing behind me, and for once I didn't jump as though I was to be attacked from behind when she spoke to me. Thank you, Queen Charlotte, but I'll be fine. I needed to see this through, if for nothing else than find closure. I watched the Cardinal walk in and position herself in front of the large statue of Althea, presumably so Althea would have a clear view of the proceedings. It was an interesting gesture, considering Althea was supposed to be able to provide her wisdom to the Cardinal directly. I just hoped that wisdom would see to Alistair getting the fate he deserved. He was marched in next. He didn't have any restraints, but that was probably because he never really needed them. Without the crown, he was absolutely docile, though this probably wouldn't be sufficient enough enough a reason to suspect the crown may have been made her otherwise. Despite his compliance, seeing him there unsettled me. Maybe it was because of the compliance that it seemed wrong. Or it could have been how starkly the daylight cast itself onto his sickly pale face and bloodshot eyes. He'd always been pale, but the dungeon had done nothing to help it. He'd not only been taking poor care of himself, but he'd also been crying. It would be hard to prove it was out of remorse for his actions or being arrested for them. If everyone is present, I would like to begin. The Cardinal looked directly at me, then to Queen Charlotte, who nodded primly. Pretender, Alistair Granteo, you are being charged for the deaths of nearly 2,000 men and women, the subjugation of 5,000 Solguardians, and usurping the crown of Orphrea. Do you consider yourself guilty? Yes. Is there anyone who would confirm this claim of guilt? I will. Is there anyone who would refute this claim of guilt? Yes, I would. The Cardinal and Alistair looked surprised by this, but Queen Charlotte didn't. However, I doubted there was much that could surprise her. Will you have evidence to back your reasoning? The evidence that the crimes were committed are very clear, but I hope to convince you that this man didn't commit them of his own will. And what influenced his will, heir apparent? I had to tread carefully here. Did I have enough evidence to claim he was enchanted? Or would I need to convince the Cardinal he was temporarily and mentally unstable? Save. Save, 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 please, save! I wouldn't know! I'm an idiot, you see! Enchanted crown! Hopefully I have had enough evidence behind me to support my suspicions about that crown. His crown. It was enchanted with powerful magic meant to manipulate him into acting under his father's will. By which you mean the late King Kendrick. Yes, Cardinal. I see, and what evidence do you have to support this? I have the crown itself, and my Archmagus will demonstrate my claims. Oh, certainly. It is entirely possible to enchant a crown in such a way to totally override the will of the wearer. You could even custom tailor this to the personality of a particular person if you're given enough of their core essence. What I believe you would consider a soul to brand it. In fact, I can give you a demonstration of the power behind this enchantment if you will allow me to access the crown. The Cardinal nodded and the guard brought a locked box up. Queen Charlotte must have taken my warning into consideration. The Archmagus had the box open itself with a swish of his hand, and it floated out with another swish. Arcane words rolled off his tongue, and then the crown took a bright glow. And suddenly, echoing whispers filled the rooms, ones that sounded like King Kendrick was speaking. That is what was playing subconsciously into the mind of the wearer. You'll notice they sound like natural thoughts, and that's where it becomes sneaky. It can easily convince the wearer that the thoughts are their own and thus turn them into the man whose core essence in this crown over time. I presume that is what was King Kendrick's goal, a ploy for immortality, if you will. I see. This is compelling evidence, Archmagus. You may end your demonstration. The room quelled into silence. I will long need a moment to consider this. I ask Althea for the wisdom and that I will require to proceed. In the wake of the silence, the Cardinal eventually made her call. Then, by the wisdom of Althea, I accept this claim of guilt. The appropriate punishment for this claim is a life of imprisonment until he is pardoned. May you find your atonement in your actions, pretender, Alistair granted. I didn't move or speak as Alistair was filed out. He didn't even fight as he moved. He even looked relieved. It wasn't until Queen Charlotte placed a hand on my shoulder that I realized the library was empty. Empty. It's done. You should go and get some rest. I nodded, unable to think of anything I could have done otherwise. Damn it! Damn! I wanted so badly to save him. This is just me getting into the game too much, but I just want Alistair back. I just want the guy in the dress, the guy in the weird dress who said, "Does my behind look big in this dress?" and like happy, all his happiness, and though he's a bit naive, still just want that guy back. The haze that settled over me lasted a few more days, but with time I finally managed to gather myself to the way I was before all this began. At least, as close as I could. Accumulating the crown was no simple task, but I did have some help. Queen Charlotte remained kind and patient with me through the entire transition. I had also the teachings of my father to carry me through, both of them in fact. While the history of King Aaand had been scrapped away by Kendrick, his ideals and politics still remained. Kendrick could not erase the hearts of the people who adored and respected King Aaand. I've been told by my court that I'm just like him, and I've been told that I'm much like Sir Thomas, the man who raised me. I'm both honored and proud whenever I hear this. I just hope that my reign will be fruitful and that I will be loyal to my people as my father. Working with Queen Charlotte, I slowly managed to heal the wounds that the war had created. The ideals of King Aaand, despite my never truly knowing the man, lived on through my actions. It was hard to win their trust at first, but I eventually managed to win over the love and the trust of the people. I managed to become a very popular ruler. It took some time to manage to get used to my job as the queen. Thankfully, I managed not to ruin the economy while I learned how to keep it balanced. It became well like in Silgard, and I was even popular as their own queen. I hardly hear from my brother, but once in a while I get a short letter from him telling me he isn't dead and he's doing well. The prelate returned to his home, and the people who needed him the most. I don't know exactly what became of James. He was slated to become head siege engineer, but he refused the position to everyone's surprise. Last I knew, he'd gone to Panzeroy, but I had no idea what, if anything, he's doing. Lorimet returned to Silgard to remain at Queen Charlotte's side. Rubus stayed on as my Archmagus. He continued to teach magic to provide valuable guidance in his arts. Rumors started to spread of my affair with my own Archmagus, not that they were unfounded or even discouraged. Rubus never became my king or even considered himself a consort. He was my lover and I was his, and we were happy that way. Even as my lover, Rubus had a tendency to be cold and distant first, but it wore away as time went on. He even began to recover from old wounds that had been plaguing him. I do not see how this is necessary. She's gone, and there's no need to keep going on about it. I think you could use closure, Rubus. Nonsense. At least humor me, okay? Alright, for you. It had taken a lot of doing, but I convinced the royal guards as it was necessary we be alone. They stood back near the wood's entrance, ready to protect me if I need be, but together in this spot, there was only Rubus and I. In his hand he held a potted flower, the same kind he'd always kept in his tent back during the war. Shut up, whatever! I had made a pot for it, decorated in the style of his homeland. We're finally having a ceremony for his lost teacher, a tropa. So, what do you expect me to do exactly? It doesn't have to be fancy, just plant the flower and say goodbye to her. Tell her whatever you need to say. She's not in this flower, Callista. I know that, Rubus. It's symbolic. I brought a shovel and began to dig a hole for the plant to go into. Just pretend I'm not here if it helps. Speak to her as if you would have then. I will try. As I dug, he just stayed silent for several long moments, but then he began to speak, quietly in his native tongue. Aside from her name, I didn't understand his words. I could tell he was struggling with them, though, from his tone. His hands were shaking. Then he went quiet. Do you hear that? Hear what? There was only silence. You can come out now. Stop hiding like a rat waiting for an opportunity to pop food from the cellar. Apologize for creeping in, Rubus. I recognized the man immediately. He was the Magus I'd seen long ago in the war. Rubus had told me his name was Adamus. What are you doing here? Rubus didn't phrase it as a question, rather than it was an order for Adamus to leave, even if it wasn't what he said. The enemy mage, is he still called? I heard you were holding a funeral for Mistress Atroba. I've come to pay my respects. And how did you hear? I have my ways. Yes, cracking open men's skulls like eggs, drink out their brains like a soft-boiled yolk, doing what you want with them, the nerve you have. Ruby, you've always had a temper. That caught Rubus off guard. He called him Ruby, like I did! Oh, sorry. You do know I love being called that. Shit, and I've been like giving you that nickname. No matter how big you get, you'll always be my little Ruby, you know. You can still call me Addie if you like. No, I would not like that. I am truthful, though. I came to pay my respects as well. I'll be quiet and speak nothing if you allow me to stay. Fine, I do not care. Clearly he did. Callista, what do I do now? If you're done, we can plant the flower now. It'll be a memorial. Very well. Rubus stooped up. He carefully pulled the plant from its pot and placed it into the hole. Ginger fingers fluffed the roots, helping them to free the compression the pot had placed on them. He patted the soil about it, smoothing it down. Then he sighed. And if you want, you can say goodbye. Goodbye, mistress. I will never forget you. He stood and looked my way. I'm done. I thought we'd just leave, then, and say nothing more, but Rubus turned to Adamus. May I just ask one thing? Yes, of course. Why did you abandon us? Why did you betray us? Is that what you think? Ruby, I never wanted to leave you. You know I love you, don't you, brother? It's just a mistress. I found was involved in deeper things than I was comfortable with. Darker things. Darker than mind-bending trickery like you deploy. With all due respect, where do you think I learned it from? Further than that, what I can do is nothing compared to what she was in. Mistress was able to meld a man's personality to an item and make it control them when worn, make them forget things. Oh, it's his mistress' fault! Damn! God damn! I know Rubus had the same thought as I did. Yeah. There was anger on Rubus's face at this accusation, but from how he struggled to speak again, I knew Rubus couldn't find words to refute it. Instead, he asked one more thing. Why did you just leave without telling me then? That's simple. You wouldn't have heard it. What? You were so twitter-padded with her that nobody could speak any wrong to you of her. It's not as if I were the only one to know. Do you really think you would have believed me if I told you how bullheaded you can be? You were bringing her flowers, picking her fruit nearly every day, Ruby. Your heart made you ignorant. I couldn't imagine Ruby's behaving that way. It would have been a funny image if not for the situation. Rubus took a deep breath and visibly began to calm. He didn't like what he was hearing, but something in him had changed. He was listening. I see. It had been many years, Animus. Too many. See, you've changed your chest, brother. You do not have breasts anymore. Oh. No, I decided I didn't really care for them and had them done away with. Besides, if you walk around with breasts out in this land, the people become so aghast. He laughed, and Rubus, to my surprise, cracked a smile. So he was a girl before. Yes, they're so foolish about silly things, are they not? Anyhow, I would like some time to think about this. We will be leaving now. Of course. Take care, Rubus. Adamus threw his arms tight around Rubus' body and squeezed him tight. Rubus, deciding to surprise me further, did not reject it. He didn't hug back, but him simply not pushing Adamus away was enough to make my eyes widen. Hopefully we can talk again, Ruby. Hopefully under happier circumstances. Yes, maybe we can. Rubus and Adamus weren't close for some years after that, being Charlotte's arch-maggots. Adamus did spend enough time in our presence that Rubus couldn't ignore him. Eventually the ice in Rubus' heart melted down. Though Rubus and I never officially married, he was always my lover, tender, sweet, and protective to the end. Eventually Rubus came to see Adamus as his brother again, and my family grew even bigger with the addition of my warm new brother-in-law. I couldn't wish for a better outcome. Oh! It's over. Okay. Well, great. That's great. Right. Queen at Arms. I didn't expect it to end at this, but it did. It did. I think I could have saved Alistair. I think I could if I'd done something differently. But there is no point in... well, no point in dwelling because I'm not gonna change it. I'm happy with this. It was a good ending, I think. It seemed like a good ending, didn't it? What did I think of the game? It's catchy. That's one of the things. You're interested in what's going to happen and the strategy things. I suck at strategy, but I managed to get through it, so it's not like it's interesting. I'm just rambling, so I'll try to part it up in sections. Art. Well, it was pretty. It's always refreshing to see some visual novels with not anime style or manga style drawings. It's not that it sucks or anything, it's fine. But it's still refreshing, and the art style was good. It's different, and it's a good different. It was very interesting, and the character designs and backgrounds were very well done and beautiful, especially the backgrounds. I loved those a lot. Music, well, as far as I can remember, now don't stab me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's royalty-free music. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that does... yeah, it's fine. It's good. It fits where it's supposed to fit, and that's how it's supposed to be. And, story-wise, yeah, it's very, very, very interesting. You just get caught up in it, and you want to see what happens. The writing is very good, very beautifully done, and the romance is not forced. It's very built up carefully, not too sudden, not too unsudden. And I know with a character like Rubus, it's very hard because he doesn't show his feelings very often, and then it's hard to describe how he's falling in love with her when he's not showing those feelings as much as he could. So yeah, but that's well done, and in all, it's just a really good game. I would thoroughly recommend it. I'm looking forward to doing all the routes by myself at some point. And yeah, they were good at not jumping into those cliche nets, if you could call it that, like a cliche trap. Like, oh, we could make a scene here, but that would be a bit out of character. But they didn't do it. And that's nice. So I guess there's nothing else to say really. It was a good game. It was interesting. I didn't know it would end now. I thought it would be longer, but yeah. I guess that's as far as it goes. My name's Nana, and I will see you in Hakuoki, which is a game I'm playing right now. It's a thing, and I've said this before, but there are a lot of friggin' games I'm so hyped to play. It's gonna be awesome. Just you wait. It's gonna be awesome. There are so many. I think the next game that I'm gonna play is after Hakuoki. It's gonna be a game I know very little about, but it seems interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Guys, I love you. Gosh, I do. You're great. Thank you for sticking with me, even though I'm not as active as I have been. And that's it. Queen at Arms, Nana, out! Yeah. I suck at ending these things. I don't even know what I'm doing. What?